Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we started our Ebony Void Crusade, drew a blank. All I could think was like dark or black, and I'm like, those aren't the right words. But we started that, got to here, and we'll keep going because we have to go to this mission and then our middle mission that's between this and this. That will unlock when we go here. I hope I didn't screw this up. I'm looking at the map again and I was supposed to get a data slate before, and I don't remember if I got one, but I'm supposed to decode it here. I'm just hoping for the best. I used 14 tarot cards, and I swear, none of them actually leveled up a single... Man, what are the odds? I mean, I know the odds are slim. Man, it sucks. Ugh, heat resist. Gross. I don't need void shards. I need... Heat resist again? Are you kidding me? XP? Sure. Yeah, warp resist for champions. Cool. That's fine. Wow, this is literally just a straight shot. Okay. So this is a fun little piece of news. Bungie just can't help but, like, step in it every time they can. Every time it's possible. So, you, almighty viewer, and myself, we both know that they've been missing their financial goals as of late. I had to think of how to word it. But they've been missing those. Apparently it's so bad. First off, this part's old, really old, but if you missed it, this is kind of funny. They were selling a $15 bundle that was a bunch of currencies that, in the volumes you were getting, were not useful. They were selling Sleeper Simulant, Ruinous Effigy, and Traveler's Chosen exotics, a Sparrow skin, a Ghost skin, and a Ship skin, all in a $15 starter bundle. Which is already funny because, first off, like, those aren't starter things. Second, they're selling exotics that they remove the quests for. Like, how to get Sleeper, you had to do a quest line. Or, actually, I think you had to find... That one was you had to find the caches on Mercury. No, that was Mars. Yeah, Mars. But they sunset that part of Mars because screw you. Literally, that's the reasoning. Because they can't be bothered to actually maintain their system and deal with technical debt, so they'd rather just sunset things. But so, they sunset all this stuff, and now they're trying to just, like, sell the things to you. Keep in mind, if you have an exotic sliver, which you can get once a week from Xur, you can just go to a terminal, go to, like, year 1 exotics, and just, for 125,000 glimmer, just buy it. So it's not like it's some super deep arcane thing that it's the faster way of getting these things. Like, nah, just go buy it. And of course, new players, they're not really going to understand the value of, like, oh, this is when I should use Sleeper against any other exotic. Or Ruinous Effigy, or Traveler's Chosen, which is terrible. That gun sucks. But so people were ripping them a new one. Rightfully so. This is some scummy stuff, especially labeling it as a starter pack. Because a starter pack, it gives certain impressions. You know, with a starter pack, you expect, like, oh, here's a little bit of premium currency, here's items that are important or might help speed along your progression early on. But this starter pack offers nothing that will actually speed you along, and some of the stuff the way it was worded is like, oh, you can fly around to new locations in your new shiny ship. It is a loading screen texture. That is all ships are. It is a glorified loading screen. So to brand it or paint it as something different is just... I'm not shocked, I'm just disappointed. And so all this happens, and then Sony comes in and is just like, look, you guys aren't meeting your goals. If you don't start meeting your goals, we're going to take over. And between that and the spat of layoffs, a bunch of devs are saying like, oh, the atmosphere is soul-crushing. And on one hand, I feel sorry for the devs, because the grunts aren't to blame for some of this. This is higher-ups. This is your writers, your gameplay designers, your guys who should have looked at a lot of the issues that have plagued the game and said, nah, we shouldn't have done this. Double dipping into player wallets so that they can fund Marathon. The slew of bad decisions. They fired a bunch of their cybersecurity, and now hackers are just running rampant through multiplayer. Like the PvP. Like, I know people in cybersecurity, we talk, and one of the biggest things that's always talked about is you can never convince suits, you can't convince corpos that getting all of, like, having good cybersecurity is a thing until a breach happens. And then they get angry because it's, oh, well, why didn't you tell us? Or, oh, why did this happen? Because you didn't fund it properly. And now Bungie's seeing, yeah, you kind of need your cybersecurity team, especially in a PvP portion of a game, because otherwise, people suck and will cheat for no good reason. Especially when it comes to, like, trials. Oh, hey, the thing where you get special rewards if you go 7 wins and no losses. There's incentive to get there. There's also incentive to Sherpa people. You can pay for that. People pay. You don't think Sherpas are going to cheat a little bit just so that they can make a few extra bucks? Bad decision. But the unfortunate part I will say, too, is I've seen people like going, oh, well, wouldn't it be good if Sony took over Bungie? This were Sony during the PS3 era? Yeah. Back when Sony was on the back foot? Yeah, they'd leverage everything they can, they'd do a good job. Now? Sony's in their idiot era. They're banking everything on the single-player, story-driven, like, mass-produced drivel that they've been doing. They're gonna screw up. I have no faith in Sony doing anything with this. They're gonna screw it up just as bad, if not worse. Or, the even worse situation, they shut Bungie down and liquidate it. That is the absolute worst case scenario, and the way the industry has been these past few months, I could see it. And I've seen some developers and some high-up guys being like, hey, I think we're actually kind of at the bottom of the dip. You know, the only way we can go is up. And on one hand, I do applaud the optimism. But I also don't see things getting much better. Because the big thing is you need good games. If you don't have good games, you're not going to have good sales. You're not going to have good sales. You can't pay your debts. You can't pay your debts. People go bye-bye. Studios go bye-bye. So, it's all kind of feeding into each other. I did not realize we have 5 minutes and we're only through here. Okay, we are just sprinting. Like, I knew it was a 5-minute run, but I didn't realize, like, these guys were this durable that this would be a problem. No worries, I can pull this one out. Because all we gotta do is destroy the things and then turn around. And then we can deal with all these guys. Yeah, we got this. But so it's... The optimism is commendable, but it's not acknowledging, like, core issues. A big one, I think, for everybody is we don't have a lot of I mean, we have flagship games and brands, but they're not good. Like, every flagship brand for Sony is just single-player, story-driven blah with no replay value. It's like, okay, well, how do you expect to really sell a ton with that as your whole shtick? You know, there's no multiplayer game to really keep people in the ecosystem. Sony's just in a bad spot. And I had talked to a friend of mine, he's like, oh, maybe we'll finally get a Destiny 3 so they can make their financial goals. And I was like, well, the first part is they have to make the first goal, which pertains to the final shape. And the final shape, I mean, first they delay it like 6 months. If they can't sort out their core issues of, you know, bad writing, boring loot, overall the whole loop of their game has kind of decayed, it's not going to end well. I don't think they can do it, because a lot of their stuff requires a full rebuild. And taking people away to try to get Marathon going, the rate they're going, they're not gonna... Their higher-ups aren't gonna be around to see Marathon come out. And I wouldn't exactly shed a tear if it never did. Because like I said with the episode about the Game Awards, we already have other more extraction shooters coming out. We don't need even more. We don't. I would rather see some return to form here. I'd like a Destiny 3. As much as I rip into Destiny 2, rightfully so, I'd like a third one, but they would need so many reworks. Realistically, they would need to end Destiny 2, and people would hate this. I know they would. But it is the only way to move forward. You end the story on a reboot. You have it end Like, something happens, you beat the witness, he goes, oh my god, you really are the Destiny 2, the final shape, moonwalks out the airlock and explodes. And then you have some big fade to black, fade to white, whatever, and then it wakes you up at the outside of the Cosmodrome with your ghost waking you up again. And then you rebuild the entire game. You redo your element system, your status effects. You redo your classes so that they're not built around an element, they're built around more of an idea. You know, you're the tank, you're the brawler, you're the buffer, you are something specific as opposed to you are Flame Hammerman, you are Captain America, but you make a bubble made out of lean. You do more so that you can use elements and add elements and use them in unique ways. I use Warframe as the example because Warframe was the one who did it best. Followed... Of the looters, Warframe is the best. In general, for elements, I think Elden Ring did it the best thanks to their resistance system. They made it so modular that you can add a million elements and not have a problem. And I genuinely think that's the way they need to go. They need to have actual summoners, whether you have like tech guys who summon turrets or some kind of minion mancer. You do things like that. I think of like deep cut for some of y'all. Tabula Rasa. If that MMO and that name like jolts something in your core memory, you probably should apply for a senior discount. I'm just saying. But that game, they had like what was it? Bioengineer or something along those lines. You do stuff like that. Oh, you can make some little gross flesh homunculus or something. You can be a squad leader and call in troops. Make up stuff. Maybe you can call in in Destiny they have the little robots, the red jacks. You can call those in something. You make a system that allows for a lot more builds, and you go from there. Also, don't do the god-awful ADHD writing that they do of just every time going, oh hey, here's the new bad guy for the DLC, and you killed him. Tune in next year for our new DLC and new villain. I brought it up before, and I hate that. It is the worst writing, because no enemy feels like an enemy anymore. They feel like just cardboard cutouts. It feels like you're at a carnival and it's just one of those, like, shoot the gun at the target games where it's the ducks and you're just knocking a duck down and then a new duck springs up and you knock that duck down and you just keep doing that again and again. And then you have to read some, like, grimoire card or something and it's like, oh, this guy is actually the super bad evil guy who wiped out 100 races across 100 planets. And you're like, cool, I shot him with a rocket and he died. I'm glad I knew this tragic backstory of how evil he was. And he went down like a chump. Cool. Hey, seasonal boss mission. We'll go do that quick. Actually, let's dump our loot. Oh, shard. I was like, wait, it's telling me I have loot. What did I get? Finding a relic item in the next tarot mission. Okay, let's see if that works with this. Physical resist for champions, don't care. Attack speed for enemies. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Actually, what's this give us? Ooh, extra champion. I still don't remember which one of these is the good one. That's good enough. But my heart does go out to Bungie devs. Like, it sucks knowing that you very well, in the coming months, may be out of a job. Or you may be under new ownership. But I also think it might be for the best. As much as I'm saying, like, oh, it's gonna suck, it also might be good. Because I'll always cite the Glassdoor reviews I remember seeing, where people were saying, yeah, it's fully yes men. It's just a bunch of dudes who are oh so happy to be there that they just don't care that there's no pushback. And that's really important in game design. You need pushback. You need people to tell you, hey, I think this idea might be bad. I think this might not work. It's not being confrontational. It's not trying to fight. It's just, hey, here's a different perspective. Because as we see with guys like Hideo Kojima, when no one does it, you get Death Stranding, the Amazon delivery service game. And that game... God, I just remember the pretentious stuff, like, it's about building bridges across America, and it's about, like, harmony and all this crap. I'm like, dude, you are putting way too much meaning on me shuffling around with a bunch of packages strapped to my back. It reminds me of English teachers who sit there and you have like a book and the writer will go, oh, the sky is blue. And they'll be like, oh, well, what was the context, what's the subtext of that? What were they really meaning by that? That the sky is blue. Don't read far into it. It's just a description. A lot of writers don't actually put a bunch of like subtext into their stuff. It's just kind of to make a point. But that just... it's just one of those things. And I just hope that in the end things pan out better than what they have been, because I've said for a while, I think Destiny deserves better than what it's gotten. I wish that EA didn't, EA all over the place. Because I think if they actually gave Anthem a second shot, we could have had a good game there. No. Idiot got locked in animation. Ah, las pistol. Boo. Unless you can drop a second las pistol, then we're talking. Power hammer, come on. Ooh, demolition armor. Man, I love these missions. Alright, chew up all the garbage. Let's see what we got. I mean, it's not better than my existing plasma cannon, which sucks. But that is pretty cool. Like, 10% chance on hit, all hits are guaranteed crits after 3 seconds. Like, that'd be cool. Bad. Bad. Why didn't you get... Oh, yeah, why didn't you get mulched? Blinds enemies in a small area on kill. It's okay. But I'm not doing melee, so... Bad. Supreme damage reduction. All resistances, I do lose a little bit on that. Lose a little bit of damage reduction. HP on hit. Healing bonus with inoculator. It is a slight reduction, but I do like the supreme damage reduction over a chance to get an enraged token. Because supreme damage reduction is just damage reduction, which is pretty cool. That's a tough one. Las pistol. Again, why do these roll this way? Converts all damage to heat. Yeah, it's a heat. It's a laser. It already does heat. Oh my god, I hate these so much. Berserk tokens can't do anything with. That one's not bad. Chance to add a general vulnerability when the target gets a debuff. If it had a loot quantity bonus, that'd be perfect. I still can't get rid of the heat resist penalty on enemies. It's too good. Also, item level 69. Nice. 10% crit chance for the next attack on... No. I don't even have to finish that sentence, and I know it's butt cheeks. Supreme... I'm not monkeying around with, like, if I'm surrounded or not. Why? Why does it have to be... If it was a bolt gun, I'd be cool with it. But it has to be these stupid, already heat weapons turning to heat. Oh my god. Sad. We'll actually use this one. Because, like, the shotgun, if memory serves... Yeah, it's all AoE. Or at least the big three, so... At least the damage up is worth it there, but... Man. Rough deal here. Like, this was a lot of really kind of meh rewards. Once again, they're essentially free, so I can't complain too much. I get them just by playing normally, so... Oh yeah, that one. Ew. No, you go bye-bye. We're selling that one. Doesn't even get the dignity of being destroyed. And we go to you. Okay, that's fine. I do wonder, though, with, like, this whole threat of Bungie being directly controlled by Sony, like, what does that entitle, first off? And second, like, what are they gonna do? Because that's such a big thing to think about, is what do they think they can do that's going to change things? If it's just, oh, we're going to fire some people, it's like, yeah, you can. That's about it. It's not like Sony can really do much to recover. It's just, oh, make a sequel. And I think part of it, for lack of sales, is just, it's fatigue. The game's been mid for so long that people just don't care. Builds are so narrow now, once again, because the classes are built in a way that cater to people who just go, okay, yeah, this looks good, and move on. Which always floors me, because if complexity is the issue, it's not really that much of an issue anymore, because you can go to YouTube and just search, like, best hunter class, and you can get builds. Hell, look at games like Diablo. That's why I laughed when Diablo 4 there was concern of things being too complex. That's what Icy Veins is for. People have used that for years. People do the same thing in every game where there's builds. They do it in Warframe. Granted, the way that game is set up, you really don't need to. I mean, all I do is, if I have a bunch of stuff that's like personal buffs, or I do a certain thing where, like, my low-key build, if I have one that's like, oh, I want stealth or invisibility, I just do every penalty to strength, and I just pump everything into duration. Yeah, I literally have like one trick, but if I'm doing an invisible build, that's all it's good for. But otherwise, a lot of general builds, I'm just like, health, shields, energy, range, strength. There isn't really a lot of deep theory crafting. That's kind of the thing I feel with my playtime with the first Descendant, where it kind of fell into that same pit. The only advantage was because the big bosses were a certain element, there was incentive to tweak your build. If you knew, oh, this guy, who is the enemy for the fight, is dealing poison damage, it's like, okay, I'll just swap out for a poison resist. And it worked. Honestly, it was probably the best option, as opposed to, like, Destiny, where it's just like, yeah, elements don't mean anything, just do damage. God, just thinking about that whole idea of, like, Skyrimming everyone and having them wake up at the beginning of the first game again. People would be so pissed. And it's like, I don't even know where you would go. Because you can't just retell the same story. Even though it's been almost 10 years since Destiny 1 came out. So you could just say it's a remaster or a remake. God, just think about Destiny 1. Oh, I miss so much of the stuff they had in that game. Actual faction stuff instead of just killing off the factions because they couldn't be bothered. They literally couldn't be bothered to just bring back the old faction system. Just like, no, we can't. It's like, no, you could. You very well could. You just didn't wanna. One thing I would love for is, when all is said and done, to get kind of the internal expose.
Teleport beacon in range.
Give me the story of what it was like in those offices. Was it just like one or two people who were just strong-arming everyone into going with ideas? Was it a fear of being fired? Is it just complete ass-kissing? What happened in that studio that just sent it spiraling? Because the difference between D1 and D2, there's no way you just naturally stumble into bad idea after bad idea. I haven't heard anything about that 40K MMO. Granted, it's only been like a couple months, but figured something would have slipped out. People are always saying something, but guess not. Yeah, okay. I was sitting here looking at my map, looking at this map, and I'm like, wait, did I do something wrong? This isn't lining up right, but no, I'm good. I'm just crazy. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.